Hey, peace and blessings, everybody. This is Gerald Hassan, your personal healer and social health master life coach. Today I wanted to speak with you about a situation that has occurred around February. And it's a very, once again, a very unfortunate situation, a very unfortunate thing to happen again. And again, I emphasize again, however, these kind of things are going to continue to happen until we as a people, specifically I'm saying black people, but as well as just people all in this nation, begin to move and speak out against the nonsense that continues to perpetuate things happening that you're about to witness, and I'm about to make you aware of. So, before I even go further, I want you to watch this clip. Brother named Ahmad Arbery. Watch this clip, and then we'll be right back.
On February 23rd, Ahmaud Arbery was chased and gunned down by Gregory and Travis McMichael after suspecting Ahmaud of being a part of a string of burglaries in the Brunswick neighborhood of Satilla Shores. Gregory and Travis McMichael are still free and have yet to have been brought up on charges. Prior to the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, 2 911 calls were made that day. Both said they saw a man running, with the caller telling the dispatcher, "There's a guy in the house right now, it's under construction." The dispatcher replies, "And you said someone's breaking in right now?" The caller responds, "No, it's all open, it's under construction, and there he goes right now." The dispatcher responds back, "Okay, what is he doing?" The caller responds, "He is running down the street." The dispatcher then replies, "That's fine, I will get police out there. I just need to know, what is he doing wrong? Was he just on the premises and not supposed to be?" The caller then responds back, "He has been caught on camera a bunch at night. It's kind of an ongoing thing. The man building the house has got heart issues, and I think he's not going to finish it." The dispatcher then replies, "Okay, that's fine. And you said he was a male in a black t-shirt?" The caller responds, "White t-shirt. Black guy, white t-shirt. He's done run into the neighborhood again." The second 911 call which came in that day went as such. As the second caller tells the dispatcher, "I'm out here at Satilla Shores. There's a black man running down the street." The dispatcher replies, "Where at Satilla Shores?" The caller responds back, "I don't know what street we're on." The caller then begins to yell at the man who was running, saying, "Stop, watch that, stop, stop." And it's at that moment that the caller no longer responds to the dispatcher. According to the police report, Gregory McMichael, who was a former investigator for the Brunswick District Attorney's Office, told the police he saw Ahmaud run by and recognized him from the break-ins. At that point, Gregory would yell out to his son, "Travis, the guy is running down the street, let's go." Both men would proceed to arm themselves with a shotgun and a pistol, then get into their trucks and go after Ahmaud. Once they caught up to Ahmaud, Travis exited the truck with a shotgun in hand. And according to Gregory, the father of Travis, Arbery began to, and I quote, "violently attack him," which would then lead to Travis shooting Ahmaud 2 times, killing him. Ahmaud Arbery would eventually be transferred out of the office of Jackie Johnson due to the fact that Gregory McMichael is a former investigator for the Brunswick District Attorney's Office. The case was then sent to George E. Branhill, the district attorney in Waycross, Georgia. But Branhill would inevitably himself end up transferring the case over to a different district due to the fact that his son also works for Jackie Johnson, the district attorney of Brunswick, Georgia. But before transferring the case over, Branhill would argue that there wasn't sufficient probable cause to arrest Ahmaud's attackers. Branhill claimed that the McMichaels were within their firearms under Georgia's open carry law and have the right to pursue a burglary suspect. Branhill would eventually relinquish the case to the Ware County District Attorney. It is important to point out that throughout this entire ordeal, no crime was committed. No crime was reported. Both 911 calls were not calls that were done reporting a crime. They were calls of suspicion. Given the first 911 call, Ahmaud Arbery has not been positively identified as the individual who was walking around inside of the house that was under construction. Nor has Ahmaud been positively identified on any surveillance camera footage. What we do know is, by way of Ahmaud's family and his former high school coach, is that Ahmaud is an avid runner who enjoys keeping in shape. And at the day of his killing, he was unarmed and simply killed off of suspicion alone. And as stated earlier, to this very date, Gregory and Travis McMichael are still free without charges. I'm Tony DeLamp.
So as you've seen what happened, again, Very, very, very unfortunate situation, very unfortunate matter. But again, this has happened, and as I had initially said, it's going to continue to happen until we as a people, first and foremost, black people specifically, begin to do things differently, speak things differently, just interact with each other differently, and again, respond to stuff like this in a way that we've never responded to things like this. You know, I'm saying the other traditional ways are, I guess, is a step towards that direction is necessary. However, as you see, these things continue to happen because obviously there's something more that the universe, that God, you know, that everything that we're made of is requiring of us that we have yet to step up to. So, Ahmaud Arbery, age 25, shot and killed by 3 white males. Well, 3 went after him. 2, from my understanding, both shot him. One, he got shot twice. You heard the first shot, then you heard, I think, like 2 other shots, and then one that hit him, I think the third one hit him in the chest. And which was February 23rd, 2020, in Brunswick, Georgia. And I have a friend that I think she was living somewhere. I'm not sure, but I know she lives in some rural area up there. That sounds like a rural area. And you know, that's one of the things that came to my mind. You know, I'm not really big with being ducked off somewhere. You know, where people aren't at. You know, even if I do have my arms and all that, I still, you know, I need to be around other people. I need people to know I'm around, and I need to know other people's around because, again, we talking about functioning as a community. You know, that's my mindset: functioning as a community, functioning as a whole, functioning as a body. You know what I'm saying? So, my reason for making this video, 1 is to bring awareness. 2 is to push emphasized change. 1, awareness, and 2, to push emphasized change. In the area of awareness, the first thing I wanted to say in regards to being aware is that I want the way that, you know, I want us to be aware of the way that we are perceived, you know, in this nation, in the world, because black people all over the world are frowned on, or mocked, or criticized, or ridiculed, or attacked, and so on and so forth. And this has been going on for way, way, way too long. You know, even when you think about that little issue in Libya, you know, how can black people today, Africans today, you know, become slaves, chattel slavery, and suffer actual torture and abuse? Has nothing to do with no criminal crime being committed into that. It's just because of the people that they are, you decide you want to put them in slavery. How can something like that today be accepted, be ignored, be allowed, or whatever by any other nation in this world? You know what I'm saying? If it was white people or maybe any other people being done like that, the whole European nation have been done responding. You understand what I'm saying? Especially if black people done it. You know, so I want us to definitely be more aware of how we are perceived. How we are perceived. I mean, 1, first and foremost, we perceived as niggas. Niggas. I used to use nigga word all day in my ignorance. You know, but today I don't, because I mean, it's not a term of endearment for me. If I could say someone's a nigga, I'm talking about it in a negative way. They are destructive. They are not productive. They are basically like a parasite. You're not good for us as a community. You're not good for us as a people. You know, in the state that you're in right now. Not like you. I mean, we can always be better, because I was a nigga before. You know? So I'm saying, I don't use that term like that. But again, that's one term that we definitely have to get rid of. You know, we have to stop trying to make excuses to hold on to something just because we love to use it. And I'm talking about people all across the board, from entertainers to people down in the gutter, in the hood. Just love this word. And then we want to say it means Naja. Okay, if it means Naja, then say Naja. Say it and spell it the way you keep saying that the word really represents. Naja. If it means Naja, start using Naja. Stop saying nigga and saying it really means Naja or it comes from Naja. It's a cop-out and an excuse. So, we are perceived as niggas. We are perceived as unintelligent. We are perceived as lazy. We are perceived to love, like to cheat and bend corners. We are perceived as being violent. We are perceived as being aggressive. We are perceived as being emotionally and mentally volatile. You know, unstable. You know, anything. If you just read, I used to read all these black author books. You know, when I was incarcerated, and I recall It's like the author. You ever notice, like in some of those books, some of you who do read, when there's like a black character type of book, like one of the mysterious and like just like this ideal character of this perfect masculine man, he's always what? Number one, he's self-controlled. He's in control of his emotions and his mental. He's always thinking. He's very low tone. He seems like he moves calculated, right? So how can we look at that as an ideal image for a man? How can we, just like even when you think about Malcolm X, when he done the whole finger thing and everybody pointed that way, every black person that I know love that scene because it's so beautiful. We love it, but we're not practicing to become that. Why? Shit. So, we're perceived definitely to be the way that we present ourselves, the way that we keep showing and proving to be. That don't mean all of us. No, it don't mean all of us. So if you're getting offended and all that in your feelings, it's because you don't love truth. You don't love being corrected. You don't really love growth. Why? Because the only way you can grow is when you are corrected, when you're told when you're wrong, when you're told when you need improvement. I went on a marketing call yesterday, and the man down there just assassinated and tore down my whole business structure. Why? Because he let me know that from the level that he exists on and the way and all the businesses that he deal with, my business don't amount to that yet. You know what? Yeah, I feel it. Because this is my baby I'm working on. Yeah, I feel it. But guess what? I love growth. I love evolution. So therefore, I'm going to take what he say. Not without no kickback and all that. I'm going to take what he say. And when I leave that meeting, I done wrote my notes and I'm going to get on it. Because if you really don't like the way something sounded to you, if you really don't like nobody saying something to you, then you need to make a change, right? So, lacking, being divided. We also perceived as being divided people. We're divided people. We really don't have each other back unless we emotional. It's our emotions got us acting out behind like our personal family or something like that. We don't naturally treat each other with the same kind of love that we seem to have when something happened to each other. You know what I'm saying? We don't represent the love for each other on a everyday basis that we seem to imply, right? With all our anger, our frustration, this, that, and other, when something that happened to us that we consider to be unjust. We don't act this love out every day. So in another way of saying that, when you talk one way, but you act another way, you're a hypocrite, right? So we got to stop being hypocrites. We are perceived as divided. So therefore, when they hear us, they know we just be talking. Because the actions will speak louder than your words. When your actions, or better yet, when your words does not confirm or reinforce what come out your mouth. So we're perceived as being divided. We perceive to lack love for self. That goes with the whole divided people. We see lack love for self. Listen, I'm saying us as a people, period. We should love everything that look like us all over the globe. No matter how pleasing to the eye a person may be or not. We should be able to see beyond that physical thing in the beauty of an individual. Still, we're perceived as superficial and materialistic. Are we or are we not? Again, when I say we, I'm talking about us as a people. Black people as a people, particularly in North America, but even all over the world. But I'm talking about particularly in North America. Why? Because I know North American black people more than anybody else I know on any other part of the world. So I'm saying, on this globe, all of these things hold true for us in ways or in whatever forms that it do, and it is hurting us as a unit, while it may not be true for every individual. Do you follow me? So now, I want us to be aware of the way we perceive. Why that's important? Because now we're talking about the change. Because, when you move with a certain level of awareness, now the change comes. The change I want to see done is that when we are aware of something, that we move like we know. We move what? We move with awareness. We move in a way. I know how you looking at me. See, we deal with each other all day. I know how you looking at me. I know you don't like me, or I know how you think about me, or I heard what you said about me. See, we treat each other like that all day. See, we move with that awareness with each other. Oh, he's a cheat. He's a crook. He look like he up to something. She look like she up to something. She trying something. They trying to finesse me. He trying to gaff me. He trying to get me. All these different things. You see, we move with each other with that kind of awareness. But we don't move with the rest of the world with that kind of awareness. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to move like we know how we are perceived. We have to move, like I'm saying, not move like that, confirming that perception. I'm saying move in a way where I know how you view me. No matter how you sound, no matter how you come to me, no matter how much you say you like me right now, right? But if I listen to you long enough and I see how your view is towards some of my people in the urban area, you know what I'm saying? Then I feel like that doesn't disconnect me too far from that. You know what I'm saying? So move with awareness. Another change I want to see is for us to know who the enemy is. I want us to know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches that Allah created everything with a natural enemy. Basically, not everything, I don't know about the plants and all that, but he did say everything, so I'm assuming that too. But from what I do know and understand, I'm thinking about the animal world. You see, every animal, you think about the forest. You know, yeah, they have natural enemies, right? Who is the human being's natural enemy? You see, your enemy isn't something that can cause you to die. That's not your enemy. You see, you stay out in the sun long enough, your ass will die, right? If you don't drink water long enough, your ass will die, right? See, if you go in the woods, in the jungle, and one of them animals will get at you, you're going to die. But it don't mean that animal is your enemy. That animal is only surviving and you stepped into that animal's world or territory or realm where you operate up under that animal's law. Right? Because think about this here. Everything in creation has to take life to sustain itself. Everything, right? So, but you see, the animal, only time we become subjected to the animal's law, and they probably could become, if we lived there and they hunted us, then that in a sense could be your enemy. But for us as human beings, we're very logical, thinking, great and creative beings, right? We have creative mind, right? So there are many ways that we can survive and sustain ourselves and feed ourselves without coming after another human being. But so why do some people do it? You see, when you have a people that comes after you for their survival, and they don't have to, but they've chosen you to come after you for their sustainment, for their survival, right? You see, then that person has become your enemy. Why? Because that person begins to continuously transgress over your liberty, your freedom to think and move and operate and live. Sustain yourself in the way that they operate, live, and sustain themselves. You see, when you go into the animal kingdom, the animal world, you step in, we trespass. You know, that even in my belief, in my understanding, Allah has created everything subservient to man, right? Right? So, even with that understanding, though, there are laws that still govern that environment. So you step out there in that environment with them animals, you better know how to step out there according to the law so that those animals don't get off in your ass. Your enemy also don't always, of course we know, don't come in just a one race or ethnicity group, right? Or nationality. You know that your enemy is a mindset. You see, for us, your enemy is a mindset. Anything that is, again, transgressing over you and yours for its own sustainment and survival can become your enemy because they have to take you out to live itself. And it don't have to, right? So that becomes your enemy. So just be aware of that. Move like you are aware of it. Don't be afraid of information. Don't let information cause you to panic and be in fear and all this, that, and another. But I'm saying don't be afraid to seek information. Don't be afraid of the news. Don't be afraid of stuff that's on social media. But you have to cipher through some of that stuff and know what to kind of pull in, what not to pull in. Do your homework, do your research, all that. But the thing about that, when you try to move out in the world as though something don't exist, because some people believe that, well, as long as I don't think about, well, I don't want to happen, it won't happen. Well, that ain't always true. Y'all, you wear condoms, right? Because you feel you might get HIV, right? You know, but do you think about it all the time? You wear a condom because you know it's out there. You know it can happen. Right? So therefore, if you know it can happen, then you move with intelligence. You stand on the side of caution. You know what I'm saying? So you don't just jump out there as though like you don't like something that you think because you don't think about it won't happen. Some people get hit out there in them streets by a car in a car wreck. You know, that was the first thing from their mind about somebody hitting them in the car. But it happened, right? You had a flat. You know what I'm saying? When you think about having a flat on the side of the road, when you thinking about, whatever kind of issues you run into throughout your life, is it something that you thought about all the time? No. So don't be afraid of information, man. Y'all stop buying into all that kind of stuff. They're saying that, well, if I kind of think about that, if I don't want to know about it, if I think about it, it's going to have me thinking too much if I don't think about it. Don't be, see, if you move out of fear, then that's the word of mistake at. You're supposed to move with awareness and move in a way to where you know things exist. And now, which takes me to the next thing. Oh, before I go to the next thing, you move with that awareness. But before I go there, I want to say this here. In the book Art of War by Sun, something like that, he say, for anybody who don't know they self and don't know their enemy, they have 100% chance of losing. For anybody that knows their self but don't know their enemy, has 50% chance of losing. Have 50% chance of success. Anybody that knows themselves and knows their enemy has 100% chance of success. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, with the whole thing about being aware of who your enemy is. Study who you believe your enemies are. So the other thing was move again, that you're aware of how you're viewed, and getting ready to go in closing. I say always be war ready, man. So with all that, when I said the other change I want to see is be war ready, man. Always be war ready. With always this awareness you have, not be war ready. Be always. No matter if you don't have limbs, or you're in a wheelchair, or you don't have some arms, or whatever it is, whatever kind of thing that you may physically cause a handicap, then you have to discover ways that you can defend yourself if certain things happen. Ways to hit the alarm, ways to whatever you do, but don't be a victim to nobody. Don't cement that in your mind that you are not going to be a victim to nobody. A victim to nobody. You understand what I'm saying? And move with like-minded people. Try to start kicking it, hanging around, vibrating with like-minded people that move on the same evolution that you move on, because that's where that iron sharpens iron. That's when you will always be on your stick. That's where you always know you got somebody that you can call and go to war with if need be. And I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Don't talk about change if you're not willing to change. And don't talk about change and freedom if you're not willing to die for it, to be honest with you. Now, I know that's but hey, but study history. Anything that's worth having always going to cost a lot. It's always the sacrifice is going to be great. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta just think about it. And for those of us who follow the scriptures and some book, and we say we Jews, Christians, or Muslims, in the history of that, wars were part of that history. Wars was a big piece of establishing what you now stand on today as your faith. So, in closing, I say stay ready, and peace and blessings go out to Ahmaud Arbery's family, and may Allah bless them and help them deal with these very trying times, because those are the people that are one that are living this whole thing out. Another week or 2 or 3, some of us have been moved on to the next thing. So peace and blessings to them, and may Allah continue to bless them. And I pray that you all was able to get something out of this discussion, and at least get what I intended for you to get. So that's it being said. Peace and blessings. Always like, share, and subscribe. Follow. Get into the comments. Let me know what you think. Peace.